Hit it!
Howdly doodly do! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, to the Fashionably Late reviews of Boyfriend Dungeon. Dungeon, not Dundon. We are always fashionably late, but we still have some words about games. I am your host for this episode, David Mark Moody, the glorious one, sometimes the shouty one. And joining me, as always, is my fabulous co-host, not fashionably late. It's the glorious Amy K. Alexander.
What's funny is I'm probably going to put this one out first, so this is going to make that's not going to make sense.
Oh, you can't do it. You're gonna have to put the first one out first, Amy. You know that now.
No, now I'm doing it. Now
You
I'm
have
not
to
gonna,
give the
now
people continuity.
well, now I'm not doing it.
Please.
Also, you said boyfriend dun dun, and my head went boyfriend dun dun dun. So I was laughing when you were doing it. Dun, dun, dun. I told you there was something wrong with me today.
There is, yeah, you did say that. You did say that, indeed. There's no doubt about it. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about Boyfriend Dungeon, not dun dun dun. Or Amy's psychoness today. We're going to talk about that game. So, the general information, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, is available on PC. I believe, yeah, it's just on PC.
Switch.
I'm pretty sure it's Switch as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they got released at a Nintendo Direct. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah, the general information is wrong, and it's on Xbox.
I think you need. I played it on Game Pass. Hang on.
The general information for this game on OpenCritic is wrong.
I think you need to stop using OpenCritic for your general information because I'm sure this isn't the first time this has happened.
We're gonna get a message next week. No longer home. I played it on this. Well, I'm sorry. I'm just going off the general information what I have on OpenCritic, which clearly hasn't been updated.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's hope this is the actual developer, Kit Fox Games.
It is.
It is. I have started this game, and it did come up with Kit Fox Games. So, genre is simulator. The description is date up to 9 weapons, from dancing swords to part-piercing daggers. Generated action combat, dungeon, and challenges. Stay sharp. Various combat styles, for example, hit hard and dodge quickly. That just sounded so wrong. With the dagger, and take on crowds with the laser saber. Yeah, I can guess why you're not using the other one. Let's get to the point. Take your weapon, babes, on romantic outings such as the club or the beach.
How many puns are in this description?
For your summer job, you're tasked with cleaning the creatures in the dungeon. Soon you discover weapons you find transform into cuties, and they're single. What a crazy coincidence, because you also happen to be up for grabs yourself. Spend the cash you earn on romantic outings to forge precious moments with your lovers, and work together to clear the rampant monster infestation. Because after all, a couple that slay together stay together. I have to say that description, general information, is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Amy, is that general information description spot on?
Yeah.
For this game?
Sure is.
And what are your thoughts on Boyfriend Dungeon? That was silently dropped by Nintendo over the week.
Thanks, Nintendo. You nearly killed me. I've lost everything. I'm looking at the gameplay files to get back into Boyfriend Dungeon mode. Yeah, Boyfriend Dungeon is great. This was the one where it was like Nintendo dropped 3 new games, and I messaged Moody, and I was like, I want to play them all. And then I went, which one should I play? Because ADHD meant I was like, I'm paralyzed with the choice. So Moody just texts back 2 words, Boyfriend Dungeon. And I went, okay. And I just played Boyfriend Dungeon. Didn't even question it. I was just like, yeah, okay. That's the one he said. That's the one I'm going to do. I played it. It was pretty good. It's the thing. I don't know, like, if you're following along with this game and you haven't played it yet, you might notice a thing coming out. on the news websites about I wrote it down actually because I knew I wanted to talk about this because I'm gonna start talking about how great Boyfriend Dungeon is, but there's like there's a few different things you can do at the beginning which are really cool. Like you choose your pronouns, not your gender. That's I don't know why all games don't do that. It just makes more sense. There's a setting that comes up where it's like, hey, like part of this game is you'll get supportive messages from your mom in game from time to time. Do you want to turn this off? Because I know some people would want that. And I was like, yes, I fucking really do want to turn that off. Thank you so much. So that was cool. But there's also like there's a content warning in the game, but it's not very specific, and it doesn't really go into enough detail to warn you about something that's in the game. Where there's a character in the game who's like one of the antagonists. He's basically a stalker, an emotionally manipulative stalker incel. And from my perspective, like it was fun to basically tell him to fuck off constantly. He was super annoying because he was a stalker, emotionally manipulative stalker, incel, douchebag. But like I could see why that would be triggering for some people who've been in a relationship, who've been in an emotionally abusive relationship or been stalked. And the developers come out and said they're gonna firm up the content warning. So like I'm gonna talk about how cool the game was, but I wanted to be like, hey, it is cool, but if this is a problem, like the stalking, emotional manipulation, then be aware of that until they put out the update, and then the game will tell you that.
That's always a good thing. Like we gave No Longer Home praise for that because they did give warnings for this. Like there's some elements of that story that could be triggering for some people or could upset people, and so it was always nice to hear that type of thing. And I think that's a lot of games in general. That's not to say a lot of games. All games in general, if they have a specific thing in there, they need to warn people about it. I think because some things can be very upsetting and they can literally suck the energy out of a video game.
Sure can.
It Takes Two.
Eric, that's the character. Eric.
Yeah. Boyfriend John and Amy, you sounded like you had a lot of fun.
I did. It was a lot of fun.
With your swords, weapons,
with my
pointy sticks.
All three of those are euphemisms. Yeah.
I'm a euphemism kind of guy.
Like it was fun. Like it's basically like it's a game that like has some different elements going on, and you get into a bit of a rhythm with it, right? So like you turn up at Verona Beach. You're gonna stay at your cousin's place rent free. Like your cousin has this flat that he's got the lease on for the rest of the summer. So you stay there rent free, and like the character that you're playing has like big social anxiety problems, and so like you've gone to Verona Beach with your cousin to like meet people and try and like work through some of your social anxiety issues, and like all of the stuff about like the dunge, which is like you go into dungeons to kill monsters with weapons that can turn into people. That's all just presented as like, yeah, this is just normal. It's just normal. So I was like, I really appreciated that it was just normal. You're doing that. You find a bunch of weapons, who it turns out are hot people. And then you like
distracted Amy.
And then like there's a deeper like sort of narrative going on, like where there's like this is a storyline threaded throughout sort of the background of this. But for the most part, what you're doing is you go into the dungeon. When you go into the dungeon with different weapons, you're building up their love meter. Although I need to circle back to the terminology of that in a sec because the game does something really cool with that. And once it hits a certain level, it gets maxed out, and then you can go around Verona Beach and essentially go on a date, which is just like the next story scene for each character. So the more you use the weapons in the dungeon, the more you then come out of the dungeon, you go and do the character interaction stuff, right? Like the dating sim stuff. And then once you've done all of those scenes, you go back in the dungeon, and you get into a cycle of doing it, right? It's like you go stab some things, and then you go talk to some hotties, and then you go stab some things, and then you go talk to some hotties, and it's really good. I maxed out all of the love meters because I wanted to see all of the different characters as stories. So I could say I probably enjoyed the game because that involved some grinding, some dungeon grinding.
Stabby.
Yeah, not the other kind of grinding. I can't take credit for that joke. That joke was in the game.
I can imagine that. I can know that about it. So going off of all of that, what's overall worked for you? Obviously, there's been some things you've just called out already, but is there anything else that just worked for you overall?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff. Like, where do you want to start? Like,
Amy, it's you. Tell me what you enjoyed, and you just say it.
So
just tell the people what you enjoyed about Boyfriend Dungeon.
Okay, so the one thing I want to praise right off the bat is the love meters. Because what you can do with, like, I mean, the way this game, like, the characters in this game are awesome, and I'll talk about their writing and the characterizations and stuff in a bit, but, like, the way, like, you can date all of these weapons, right? There's 7 of them. I'm pretty sure. Someone's going to comment and tell me I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there were 7 of them. And, like, if you're not interested in dating one of them, like, one of the characters, you can just be upfront about it and just say, yo, not interested romantically, but let's be friends. And then, like, the character in the game will just go, okay, no probs. And then you just continue on the storyline, but as friends. And, like, all of the references to sort of being in a romantic relationship are just turned into, like, you're my best friend, you know? Like, oh, we're best friends. Oh, we're friends. And it was like, that was so cool. Like, that it didn't get super awkward. Like, with characters I had no romantic intentions with, where it's just like, instead you can just be like, we're friends, yeah, we're buddies, yeah, we're pals, right? And then that also is really inclusive of, like, asexual people. You, like, would be like, because they could play this game and not feel uncomfortable at all because they could just be friends with everybody.
Being friends is good, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, like, you can have friends in this game instead of multiple romantic partners, which is also cool, you know? That's what you do you. But for me, I was very focused on, like, one character. Whereas, like, hot eyes. And I was like, okay. This is happening. The characters are wonderful. They needed to be, because obviously this is very much a character-focused game, you know? You spend the majority of your time interacting with characters and, like, building your relationships with them, and each one has their own storyline, like, that you play through as part of these dates. And they're all great. Like I said, I went through every single one, and it wasn't... Like, if you play this game casually to the point where you're just playing it through until you reach the end, like, naturally you won't max out all of the love meters. You have to actually go out of your way to do that. So I think that's telling as to how much I was enjoying all of the characters that I went out of my way to see all of their stories. They're all very unique from each other. They're all very different. All of the characters are very different, so they have very different perspectives. Like, no two characters have, like, similar personalities, similar backgrounds, similar backstories, which was great for, like you've got Sunder, who is the guy everybody knows from he's the guy with the open shirt, who's the sword. He's like the first weapon that you find, and he's just like
the game, really.
Yeah, he's like the thirst trap, right? He's like the walking thirst trap, where it's just like big muscly body, and like he's got these little Thario. He's the smooth talking guy, and then there's like one of the other characters is like a college student, university student. He's like, most of your, like, storyline with this character involves teaching them to cook food. I'm not even kidding. Like, half of their storyline is literally just like cooking food, making pizza, grilled cheese. It's still just as good as, like, the mysterious
anything
past.
that has melted cheese is like a win for me.
Cheese is really good. Like, but like, I mean, there's other stuff to their storyline as well, but like, it's just like everything in these characters' storylines was really good. Whether it was serious, heartfelt, comedic, funny, whether it was like it was like high stakes, low stakes, no stakes. Like one of the characters in this game, that one of the romanceable options in this game is a cat called Pocket. Turns into Brass Knuckles. And I did not know where that was going, but I was interested to find out. And really, I was not disappointed. I was like, there's no way I'm going to romance a cat, right? Like, that's just maybe for me personally, a step too far. And no spoilers.
How's the story? Obviously, it's all about character driven, all the characters and everything like that.
Yeah.
How is the dialogue and story?
So, like, yeah, that's the main sort of. That's what you'll be doing most of the time when you're not in the dungeon, right? One sec. Before I just choked to death. That's what you like. So you're interacting with the characters. These character storylines are the main thing you're doing, but there is an overarching sort of storyline. Which involves like that's why your cousin is a character in the game. Apart from your cousin's a really cool character in the game as well. Like all of the characters are really cool, apart from Eric.
Apart from the stalker.
The thing about the stalker is I can't say he's badly written because I immediately was like, no. Like the red flags are going up and I'm just like, no, I don't want to be anywhere near you, but like he just keeps turning up. So like the main storyline is it's very mysterious. It's very sort of, it's like dotted throughout the story. And then you get to the end point where it's like, hey, make sure you do everything before you do this because this is the end. It's good. It's okay. Like it's like even as someone who isn't triggered by stalking and emotional manipulation as much, like it still made me feel really uncomfortable at times. Yeah. And for me, a good release for that was literally like being able, like you can just tell this guy to fuck off multiple times. Like you don't have to like at any point, like because a lot of the times like gaming dialogue options aren't fantastic when it comes to like character interactions and stuff like that. And if a character's like really like bothering you, like in a lot of video games you don't really have the option to just be like, look, leave me alone, like go away, fuck off, I wish to drop you off a tall building, and like all that kind of stuff. But like in this game, yeah, you can just be like, listen mate, like I know exactly your type, go away, leave me alone. He just keeps turning up because that's his character type. Unfortunately, he is the antagonist. He is a big part of the main storyline. So he does just keep turning up, irregardless, and there's no real way around it. But I can't say the writing of that character was bad because, again, it made me hate him, which I was supposed to, I'm pretty sure, as part of the game, but it also did make me feel a bit uncomfortable at times. Whereas it's like, this guy is just the most all the time, and the worst, simultaneously.
Yeah, there's no denying that as completely understandable, especially if anyone has ever gone through that or anything like that. But it's kind of finding that line really in it, where that line, what part is it where it's too much and what part is it's just right in everything? Would you say they overall get it just right, even though it's uncomfortable?
I'd say for me personally, they got it just right, and I'd say for a lot of people, they got it just right. Like, one of the most validating, like in terms of like who I follow on Twitter, right? Like, and how I've curated my Twitter timeline. I had a very validating moment on Twitter on, I think, Friday, where I was scrolling through Twitter and I realized everybody I knew who was playing Boyfriend Dungeon was having the exact same reaction to Eric. So it was very validating that, like, my timeline was starting to light up with people going, man, this fucking guy, I want to throw him in a lake, you know? Just like, I was like, this is very validating. I have picked the right people to follow on Twitter, but like I can definitely see like the criticisms of like the game doesn't adequately prepare you for what you're about to face with Eric.
That's understandable.
But you get to romance the cute weapons.
There are some cuties. I've seen that myself.
Oh my god.
But Amy, how's the combat?
Sorry, I'm back. It's pretty good. It's fine. It's not like, it's not amazing.
Just a dungeon crawl in it. Just clicky,
It's just a very, very sort of basic dungeon crawler. Like,
yeah,
you level up really quickly throughout the game. So, like, you'll hit a point in a dungeon. There's only two, where you'll die because it's sort of like a reset point because you don't level up until after you've come out of the dungeon. When you come out of the dungeon when you quote unquote die. You don't obviously die. You get KO'd and taken to hospital. And so there's like almost like inbuilt reset points for you to sort of like for it to basically kick you back out of the dungeon, and then you level up, and then you have all of these social interactions, and then you come back to the dungeon, then you kick ass. The game's not massively difficult, so I definitely came across a couple of those quote-unquote points where I was quote, supposed to die, and I definitely got past them. Where out of sheer spite, where I was just like, you want to kill me right now, and I know you do. No, it's not happening.
It ain't happening. Not tonight. Not tonight.
But each of the different weapons have obviously come with very different playstyles. And this is where it gets a bit weird in terms of like how Boyfriend Dungeon is set up versus like how the dungeon crawling aspects work, because there are weapons in the dungeon where I'm like, I really like using these weapons, like not a lightsaber and the scythe were like the two weapons that are sort of like with like the way with the way the combos worked and the way the weapons worked themselves. I was like, cool, I'm digging like these play styles specifically. However, my main love interest was the dagger. Now,
I had a feeling you went to the dagger. I had a feeling you went to the dagger.
As soon as I found the dagger, the first time you find the dagger, you pick the dagger up in the dungeon, and it's a dagger. She's a dagger, and literally she's just like, "Yo, consent," and I'm like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, that's a good point. You should just like handle people without asking." And I was like, "This game is just doing everything right. It's great." And the playstyle for Valeria, that's the dagger, was fine, but like I preferred to play with different characters. I heard that sentence before I ended it, and I was like, oh,
you felt like you were betraying your dagger.
That's not what I meant, though. But like, so I got into sort of this rhythm, and I don't know if this affected my enjoyment of the dungeons, but I got into this rhythm where every time you go down a floor, like you'll see like the love meter of whichever weapon you're wielding will go up. And once it maxes out to the next level, it won't go up any further.
Yeah.
So when I was doing that between floors, I would just switch to the next weapon. So I was just trying, because what I was actually trying to do wasn't so much like beat the dungeon, just like just level these different things up to unlock all of the interactions. So I never really stuck with one playstyle like at all, because I was like, that's the way you level up to the love meters to get to the next scenes.
Play a different style.
Yeah, so like I have to keep switching between the weapons. Now once you get to max level with one character, the game gives you an item which makes it way quicker to level up like the love meters on all of the other characters. So it like speeds it up greatly, which was very welcome. Because it meant I just like focus on that for like an hour, I think, after I got to that point, like maybe 2, and I was done. I had all of the meters up to the maximum level, whereas it would have taken like a lot longer if I didn't have that item. But yeah, the combat's fine. It's nothing really particularly amazing. Like the monster designs are interesting. There's not very many boss fights. The last boss fight is mechanically pretty lackluster. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the final boss fight was a bit disappointing, like mechanically, but no one's playing Boyfriend Dungeon because of the awesome combat mechanics or do the dungeon diving itself.
Yeah.
Like, so it works enough.
Yeah. Kinda, let's go with what I'm about to say, kinda like a Naughty Dog game. That they concentrate more on the story and characters than the gameplay.
I mean, I guess, but I do like
because a lot of people say the gameplay for Naughty Dog is like the weakest element out of their games overall. I disagree with that element overall. But
if you're talking about like Uncharted 1, I think, because I played Uncharted 1 a few years ago, and I was like, the gameplay wasn't great, but the cutscenes and the story was really good. So like in that sort of respect, like if anyone says that about like Uncharted 4, fight me, I'll fight you right now.
And Last of Us Part 2, which is the best game of 2020.
Almost. I'll fight you.
She would, ladies and gentlemen.
I would. I'm in that mood. So yeah, it's just like it doesn't suck, the combat, so it's fine. Like, but
Yeah.
the thing you're gonna be like most looking forward to is going on dates, and I have to use dates in air quotes because like friend dates, right? Like they can be friend dates. And like seeing the next storylines unlock, and like there's crafting in the game where it's like you'll find recipes as you go into the dungeon, and you'll find in crafting recipe like materials to craft stuff. But it's like by about halfway through the game, like if I ever found like I just go straight to the crafting bench and I just hammer the A button because I had all of the crafting materials I needed. Which is good because Eric runs one of the places you buy crafting materials for, and I literally never went to his shop. I was like, I'm not going. I'm not doing it.
I'm going to the other one.
That's like you have all of the weapon crafting material, the like metals and stuff, and I was just like, nope. Oh, I need to buy some steel. I'll just go in the dungeon. It's fine.
It gives you that option. That's the good thing about it.
Yeah, I want to avoid this stalker as much as possible.
That is definitely fair. That is definitely fair.
I love these characters though, Moody. Like you've ever played a game? So like it's a summer vacation game, right? Like we've all seen this. This character goes somewhere on a summer vacation and they connect with all of these characters, and then by the time it gets to the end of the movie, you're really sad that they have to leave all of these characters behind. And it's like it's the same thing in this game where I was like, I don't want it to end. I was like David Tennant in Doctor Who. I don't want to go. Can I just stay here now? But it's cool. It's fun. It's like it's nice. It's breezy. It's fun. The character interactions are fun for like the most part. Like the characters are awesome. They're so cool. I love them so much. Apart from Eric.
What didn't work for you, Amy? Apart from Eric, you've already mentioned
Eric. I think I've already talked about it. Really, like there was Eric, and there was the dungeon. Like combat's fine, but nothing too special. I don't think there's anything else like on top of that. Like the music was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. So it was good. I don't know, like you get a lot of text, like you do a lot of text messages and stuff. But again, I like that. So, like, you get like notifications on the phone and messages from all the different characters, and like, even those can be pretty funny. Like, you messaging Isaac, who's like doesn't know which emoji is most appropriate to use in one specific situation. So you suggest one, and then that's the one he uses for the entire rest of the game. And it's really funny because it's just like, no, dude, that's. That's not the... Oh, whatever.
Oh, dude, that's not how the Force works.
No, don't use that emoji. Oh, okay. And, like, yeah, the sense of humor is really good. Like, it can be an incredibly funny game. The side characters are good. Like, yeah, like, that's it. The crafting's fine, but it's not amazing. The combat's fine, but it's not amazing. Like, the things that didn't work for me, like, quote-unquote didn't work for me, are just, like, things that I would say are fine, but not amazing.
The main course of this game worked for you.
Yeah, like,
which
everything
the characters
like,
and the story, and they did an amazing job for you. So that works fantastic.
I mean, you know, like, what did I play? What did I finish in this? And, like, I finished this in, like, 2 seconds in, like, 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, you basically text me. You text me, David, Moody, what am I meant to do? What am I meant to play?
And you went boyfriend dungeon, then I texted you 24 hours later and went, done.
You did as well. I was like, wow. Right, okay.
Yeah, it's not a massively long game. So, like, the way I played it took me about 10-ish hours. And obviously, like, you can get through it faster if you don't want to see all of the different character storylines. But, like, why would you? Like, you do. You do, I guarantee you. Apart from Eric, you do. So it's fine. Just be very, like, you just have to make sure you set very clear boundaries with all of the different weapons. If you don't want to date them, you don't have to date them. And you don't have to worry about saying that. Because it won't end the storyline. It won't cut it off prematurely. It's fine. You can do that. It's totally cool. Because like you
Fantastic.
get that thing right where it's just like the character will be like, "Hey, let's kiss," and then you go, "No, thank you." And like I'm trained by like all of these other different games that I've played BioWare to like worry that if I say that the characters like I've then like cut off like an entire like avenue of a storyline. But in Boyfriend Dungeon, it's fine. You don't cut off an entire avenue of a storyline. The game just continues, and you're just friends with these people instead of dating them. Apart from Eric.
Remember, Eric, keep away, ladies and gentlemen.
You can try. It turns up like a bad rash.
Well, that is it for Amy's review of Boyfriend Dungeon. Let us know what you think of the game, everyone. Did you like it? Are you in the middle of it? Or did it just not work for you? Leave a comment down below, as it is this time for us to get out of here and go and play more games for us to eventually review them. Because we are the Fashionably Late Review Show, and we are out of here. Say bye, Amy.
It's on Game Pass.
And Switch.